or email breakfast@newstalk.ie. Now, I'm delighted to be joined in studio by Ron Immink from BookBuzz, and this week we're going to look at an interesting one, Little Bets by Peter Sims, and he's looking at companies like Pixar, HP, and how they use small steps to get great results.
Correct. Good morning, Ian. Yes, Little Bets. It's written by Peter Sims, and what he says is there's too much chaos going on, and rather than going for the big bets, you should go for the little bets and start to just, by small steps and small discoveries, make the breakthroughs.
And what examples does he give?
He has amples of, I don't know where to start with this book, because is this a book for entrepreneurs? Is this a book for CEOs? Is this a book for innovators? One of the guys he mentions is Chris Rock. Now, you've seen his...
famous actor and comedian.
Fantastic, but how does he become a fantastic comedian? He starts with a show which he trials in small pubs across the United States, and he tries and he tries and he tries and he tries until he gets to a show that he can fill for 2 hours, and he falls on his face on a very regular basis. Now, I can't imagine as a comedian standing in front of lots of people and they're not laughing. That's what happens to him all the time. And what Sims is saying is that you should expose yourself to those type of experiences. It's a great read. I read it in my holidays in Spain. It's light. It's full of stories.
What's this? The hippo syndrome. What is this? What is he going on about there?
Yes, the hippo syndrome, which is the hippo syndrome is the person, the opinion of the highest paid person is the most important. Now, that's a recipe for disaster, because everybody in the company knows. It talks about, it's a do book, so random. I'll give you a few examples. An MBA is somebody that takes a cookbook and follows the instructions. An entrepreneur is somebody who just starts cooking. Now, who do you prefer? Now, if you take Peter Sims, and it sort of touches on Pink, you should probably want an entrepreneur in your company rather than somebody that follows the cookbook.
No offense to all the people who spend tens of thousands on MBAs.
If you're an MBA, I'm really, really sorry, but you should... Pixar, how many storyboards they use, you think, for WALL-E?
A couple of thousand, maybe?
98,000 storyboards, which shows the sort of the iterative changes they made to the movie. So what you need to do in a company, as a CEO, as an innovator, or as an entrepreneur, is seek out the mavericks. He calls them the black sheeps. He tells the story about the mountain bike. Do you think the mountain bike was developed by a company, or how do you think the mountain bike was developed?
Somebody in their home developed this idea, wasn't it?
Correct.
Yep.
Yes. In somewhere, I think it was North Carolina, a few people started using the bike in the mountains and in the woods, and they started to reinforce the bike, and eventually a company picked it up, and I think it's now a 58 billion euro market. And the whole point is that innovation. He refers to a guy called Von Ripper, I think is his name. I might be wrong on that one. And the difference between classic R&D and user-generated innovation, which one do you think is more effective?
I would say classic R&D.
Wrong. User-generated innovation is 8 times more effective. And I think that's the point he consistently makes. HP, do you think HP do any market research?
I imagine a big corporation spends a lot of money on research and marketing tools, no?
No, HP does not spend any money on market research. What they use, and on an increasing basis, is they engage with their users and get them to develop their products. And I think that's the ongoing message. It touches on a lot of...
well, something in the book which I do want to...
yes.
What businesses can learn from the military, apart from highly efficient techniques and orders and regiment?
Well, okay, in the old day, when you would fight a war, you would have a big battle and you would throw loads of tanks at it and you would fight it out. The way wars are being fought at the moment is in a completely different way, which is small, it's agile, it's teams that make decisions on the ground. And if you want to learn, if you want as an entrepreneur to understand what's going on in the world, look how the military is sort of approaching the way they fight the wars and the way they train their personnel, which is they make them lean, mean fighting machines that are completely autonomous when they're hitting the ground. And I think that's the way you need to start training your staff.
He asked intelligence or effort. What's more important? I would have said intelligence, but what?
Nope. Again, Ian, you're wrong. It's it's effort, which is I don't know who it was, but it's the 10,000 hours. The more you do it,
Malcolm Gladwell. Yeah.
There you go. It's 10,000 hours. The more effort you make, the more successful you become. And he talks about this thing called luck. Do you think luck is something that's random, or is something that you can actually manipulate?
I would say random. Am I wrong again?
Wrong. And but he says create your own network of luck, and that it is all about it's statistics. The more you're exposed to people and opportunities, the more lucky you become. And luck is a state of mind.
And now, what about this bird's eye versus worm's eye? What's he going on about there?
Well, you had the economists on just before this slot. They take the sort of the helicopter view, and he takes the example of the person who invented the Grameen Bank, and he was an economist. And he was sort of wondering, I'm an economist, I understand how things work, and why people still die on the streets. So he decided to go and walk the streets. And he talked to a little lady about how she was running her life. And he's understood that she was setting up her business and that her biggest problem was money. That's how he invented the Grameen Bank, which was micro-lending. And rather than taking the bird's eye view, you take a worm eye view, which is total immersion. So you dig into the problem and get down to the nitty-gritty, which is why a lot of companies are using anthropology now as a way of doing market research.
Very briefly, this book, is it for general audience, or if you're a business owner or if you're an employee, who's the main target of this?
All three of them, genuinely. It's a good book.
Recommend it. That's Peter Sims with Little Bets. Ron Immink from BookBuzz, thank you very much for joining us this morning. Well, lots of